I want to welcome you to our session to help engage teachers and students or your district with Access World News research collection. My name is Catherine Bergerson. I'm the Vice President of Marketing at NewsBank. I'll be joined today by my colleague, Matt Stewicki. As we get started here, just want to let you know that our session is being recorded and we will email it to you so you can watch it on demand anytime. We'll also want to let you know that you can download all of our contact information and the resources we discussed today. They're in the gray bar that says handouts. You can download those at any time. Right now is the perfect time to really take a look at how you can leverage Access World News research collection. As we know, in today's world, digital resources and online access has never been more critical. And with NewsBank, you're bringing the most credible, comprehensive, vetted content that's available to your teachers and students. You can use them in person or remotely, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's our goal in the next 30 to 45 minutes to share with you an overview of the rich collection, what it includes, and really what makes Access World News unique. We'll show you how to search to pinpoint relevant information to your area of interest. We're going to share some ideas of how to build visibility, including some ready-to-use ideas to help you connect with teachers, students, or using your own assignments. And we'll have time for questions and answers, so don't hesitate. Anytime you think of something, just use the question box. Again, that's the gray bar that says questions. Pop them in there, and we'll pause throughout the presentation, and we'll do our best to get to all of them. If we run short on time, we do commit to getting back to you in the very near future. So if that sounds good to everyone, let's dive in. I'd like to share just a brief background on NewsBank. We're a leading news and information provider to research institutions and libraries. I'm proud to share with you that we are celebrating our 50th anniversary as a company this fall. We aggregate news sources from around the world, bringing you credible, vetted global news sources, many of which are unique to NewsBank. And again, they're all available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week from any device. Now, let's take a walk through Access World News research collection. I'd like to turn it over to my colleague, Matt Stewicki. He is the Vice President of Sales for K12 schools and community colleges. Hi, Matt.
Hi, thanks, Catherine. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully they're having a great day. So today we're going to look at Access World News. That is NewsBank's flagship product. It contains over 13,000 sources from around the world. It's multiple languages, so aside of English, it's got a lot of Spanish, German, French, Malay. I believe there's roughly 23 different languages, and that's the native content that we get. It's not a translator or anything like that. There's multiple source types. So you've got a side of newspapers, you've got audio, video, you've got journals and magazines, web-only content, professional blogs, transcripts, and so on. And then one of the latest things we added, which was roughly in 2 years ago or so, we added, I'm going to stop sharing myself and show you the Access World News. We actually added image edition of newspapers, which I will show you. There's roughly 280 image editions available within this collection. 50 of them are international, some very large international titles like the South China Morning Post, the Irish Times, and the Sunday Jerusalem Post. And then we have many, many of your local newspapers available in image editions. So let's dive in, okay? So as you can see, Access World News, we've got a Google-like search bar here. So you can search keyword, anything you want there. And then we also have what we call suggested topics, which cover all the different subject areas that you study in schools. But let's start a search here. So I'm going to do a search on immigration. Of course, that's a big topic we hear in the news. Now, this database is updated on a daily basis, and it contains just shy of 1 billion documents. So it will cover just about any topic you can imagine. it's going to bring you that information and content. And as you can see, I've got over 6 million results here. So the important part about this is, how do I get to the content I need? This is great content, but I need to get to it. I can't search 6 million documents. So that's what this bar down this side panel is for on the left-hand side. Automatically, the system will default to the newest results first, okay? And you'll even note here that this is a result from tomorrow because we're getting it from Australia, okay? We can resort by best match or oldest, okay? Now, the filters, that's the important part. That's what's going to allow you to get to the content. We have multiple date filters. Here you can see we have a slide bar. This goes back to 1950 all the way to present. Generally, the data in this resource is about 1980 forward, but we do have some publishers that have given us some older data. So maybe, for example, my project only deals with 2010 forward, the last decade. I can use my slide bar, hit apply, and that will filter out all of that older content and only give me data from 2010 forward. And of course, you see I dropped about 2 million documents. And you'll note how these bars now are showing you how things trended, how this term trended. A great way to point out to students how terms rise and lower depending on what's happening in the world. Second way to filter by date, okay, as you can see here, I can go to a specific day, a specific month. I can say, give me the past 6 months. I can do a range of years. So you've got any way you want to type in or get to a specific date or range, you can do so. I'm going to come back to this, and here you will see I've got my results by year. And I'm going to click on that. And so that more options box shows me all the years that I've got. I'm going to resort that data. So you can see I've got from 2010 forward. And, oh, I see these two big spikes here. So example is, if I wanted to look at just those two dates, I could put a checkbox in them, hit apply, and that will bring me just the data from 19, right? 2018 and 2019. And again, you can see the way this slide bar. So you could go directly to this big spike to see what happened in June of 2018 around immigration. So just a great way to show students, again, how to get to things that are happening in the world and rise and so on. Now, if you enter a filter by mistake, you can simply click an X. That filter will go and bring you back to where you were. Okay. All right. Let's go to source type. So I mentioned we have different source types. So as you can see here, audios, professional blog, college, university newspapers, journal, magazine, newsletter, newspaper, newswire, transcript, video, web-only content, okay? You can click on any one of these, or again, the more options box will allow you to, for example, I want only journals and magazines. I hit apply. That filters out all those other types, okay? Now, you'll note here the videos. Just want to point out that 99% of our videos, they will link out to TV stations that are doing a search, or I'm sorry, a story on your search term. In this case, this would link out to TV stations doing a story on immigration, okay? Source name. So you can go to a specific source name. And again, I click more options. That allows me now to actually freeform and type in information. You can see I've got over 11,000 different sources pulled for this search. So maybe I want to go to the USA Today because that's the top circulated newspaper in the US. So I type in USA Today, scroll down, I can put a checkbox, hit apply, and now I filter out all of those other 11,000 plus sources, and I've only got information from the USA Today. Now note the difference in the look of this result versus this result. That's because the USA Today, we not only have it in a full text format, but we have it in an image edition. So This is like a PDF, a digital format version of, in this case, today's newspaper. And we'll come back to this, okay? And that is the full text version. And again, simply click an X, removes that filter, and brings me back to where I was at, okay? I'm gonna come back to source location because I wanna go to Lexile level, okay, to show you that you can actually filter by Lexile level. So when you filter to a reading level, it will filter out all of the image edition newspapers and only leave you with full text, because image edition newspapers cannot be Lexile just yet. The technology just is not there. And of course, the more options would allow you to put check boxes in multiple Lexile levels. And then languages. I'm going to show you all the options on just this search. So from this search, immigration, we've got 14 different languages. You can see the bulk of it is in English, but we have a lot of French, Gaelic, Spanish, Portuguese. So as you can see, lots of different options, okay, on languages. So this will help support your language programs in your schools. If you've got Spanish speaking or a lot of international students, they could search using their own language. So up here in the search bar, if you type a word in Spanish or French, that's what your results will come back in French and Spanish, okay? Now, I'm gonna go to location because over 13,000 sources from around the world, over 200 countries and territories are being represented here. So that allows us to filter our data by continent, country, region, state, province, and city. Okay, so just for example, maybe my project says I have to do something on immigration from 2010 forward. Oh, we'll say from the state of Texas. Okay, so I just started typing Texas, and you'll see here I get results, Texas. So I click on apply. Now I filter out all other content, and I've got content just from Texas. Okay, now I'll click more options just to show you that you can go very, very granular. So I'm pulling data from 191 cities in Texas, okay? So if I were to go to the capital, Austin, and click apply, that now filters out all the other cities. So now I'm only getting data from Austin. And you can see here, we've got the Austin American-Statesman, which is their newspaper, okay, in both a full text and an image edition, okay? And if I were to go to source name, just to again illustrate you how much data and sources we pull from, we've got 24 different sources that are being pulled from Austin only, okay? Now, once I filter my data, I get to where I want, I can do an article preview. So I can begin reading this article from the beginning. Is that the article I want? If yes, view document. If no, I can simply close and go to the next. Now, the difference between a full text view and an image edition view, we will hone in on that search term, okay? Because you can't, again, Lexile or read the entire document. Again, the technology is just not there, okay? So let's go into this full text article just to show you the tools. Once you select, you've got a set of tools for the user. So I can increase the text size. I can create a citation. And if you're using EasyBubs, RefWorks, or Noodle tools, you can export to that bibliography tool. So example, there's your MLA 8 citation. And I can simply copy and paste that as well. I can email this to someone. Who do I want to send it to? From me. And if I want to give a message, I can. The system is mobile friendly. So whether they get this email on a phone or a tablet, a laptop, it doesn't matter. It will resize itself and look exactly like it looks here, okay? I can print the content and include my citation if I wish. I can download it to a PDF or Google Drive. We can save to an internal folder if need be. Copy link, this is an important one. So when I click copy, this is a Doro link. So this link will always open to this article. So I can put this link into a lesson plan. I can email it to a student, a parent, another teacher. And when they open it, it will always open to this document. And if you're using Google Classroom, this will look familiar, where you can drop it down into an assignment in Google Classroom. We also integrate with Canvas, another one of the large LMS systems used out there. And then last but not least, all full text articles have a read along. This will turn the words yellow and read right along with it. I don't believe you'll hear it, but you get an idea. Okay, so that's what a full text article looks like. Now, I'm just going to hit next. I could go back to results, but I know my next result in this case was an image edition. So just going to click next. And as you can see, it goes right to my term. I'm going to make this a bit smaller. All right. And we'll scroll down. All right. And I see right here, this term is in this article, but it came from page A1. So example is I could jump now to page A1 and start from the very beginning. And as you can see, this is today's newspaper, exactly the way it was delivered to everybody's doorstep, okay, in a full digital image, okay? So we can go find that article, which is right here, all right? And then again, we've got tools for the user. So I can search this page or issue for more information because, again, we've got the entire issue loaded. This is giving me information on the page I'm at. Again, we can create the citation. We can email it, and it will email this page, okay? And the clip function. This is the biggest one that gets used the most, okay? So, example, we know that this is on 2 pages. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the clip. I am going to size it to grab my data. And now I have the option to print it, download it to a PDF, or save it to Google Drive. So I'll just download it to give you an idea. And I can also include the citation right away. So by doing that, that will now clip just that little bit of that article directly off of the page. And you can see that that's running right here. It'll be done in just a second. And it's going to create a nice, clean PDF for me that I can now use in my project. And now this allows me to go back to the other page, in this case, page A5, and I can grab the rest of my article. So I can pull things together that way. I could clip out a caption or a picture like this as well. It is running a little slower than normal, so I do apologize for that, but it is just about done, as you can see. And here we go. That'll download that to a PDF now. I can click on that and you can see nice and clean, okay, easy to read, and includes the citation. So very, very usable. And now I can just go back and here's the rest of that article, okay? So now I could perform that function again and clip the rest of this. This appears to be most of the page, so I could just use the whole page if I wish. So that's your clip. You can print full page or clip, download full page or clip. Again, that save to folder option. The Doro link. So I could have copied the link from page 1 and this page, and I've got those 2 links together because they will always go to this page. The Google Classroom. And then again, previous or next page, jump to a page this way, or use your thumbnails, okay? So very, very easy, as you can see, to use the image editions, and very, very good for students. They love them because they're very, very visual and so on, okay? I'll go back to NewsBank, and that brings me back to my search. I'll pause for a second for any questions.
Thank you, Matt. Yes. Quick reminder, if you have any questions, just pop them into the gray bar marked questions. We do have one, Matt. How frequently are suggested topics updated?
Suggested topics are updated actually based on user feedback. We update our suggested topics. So example is we just had one of our IB program schools send us a whole batch. I think it was about 20 different suggestions on topics that they wish, and we'll add them that way. We'll also add them daily based on what we see happening in the world. Okay, so we monitor, of course, the news, the media, everything. We look at what students are searching because we can pull search data. So we try to keep them as up to date as possible.
Thank you. That's all for the questions at this point.
Okay, great. Well, I'll continue now. Since we brought up suggested topics, that's a perfect segue right into how they work. So you see here that we've got all the different subject areas that are studied in school. Okay, so example is if my students are doing a project on science, this is a great starter for them. Maybe they don't know what they want to do their project on, but you can see all the different topics covered here in science. Okay, so drones is a big thing today, so I'll just click on drones. You'll see what happens here is this creates a search that our editorial team put together, and it's a very complicated search. It's something more than most people will type because they would just gone into the search bar, type drones, and hoped for the best. Okay, but you can see we're searching in the headline first, we're narrowing it down by a word count. Now, this can be modified, and then you've got, again, the filters right down the sidebar to further filter your data. Okay, now if I go back, you'll see that again, these are all the same. So if I go into DEI, okay, you'll see they all work the same. And if I look at LGBTQ rights, that'll run that search. So again, if you're looking for something and you don't find it, okay, in any of these topics, let us know what it is. We will add it. Depending on how many suggestions we get. Sometimes they're done in a day. Okay, sometimes it might take a week if it's a long list. But those suggested topics are great way to get to current events, big issues that are happening. Okay. Last two things I'll show you real fast with our Access World News that gets heavily used are our hot topics. So this is really highlighting all of the big issues that happened within the last 30 days or so. This is the September 22 issue. We do have an archive that goes all the way back to March of 2018. You can see it's organized by subject area, current events, business economics, civics, government, politics, sciences, social issues, science, technology, health, sports, arts and literature, people in the news. So example is if I click current events, again, a great way to get to data, get started. Queen Elizabeth. So you can see a summary of who was she. Okay, it also questions to get students thinking. Okay, veterans with burn pit illness, right? Okay, again, summary, questions. Okay, and we also provide a search to get you to more information. So when I click that search, that'll run that search, and now I've got more information on Queen Elizabeth. Same filters down the side. Okay, so great way to get started if you don't know what you need to do for your current events project. And then another huge one that gets used heavily are daily headlines and lesson plans. So every day we pull up 10 headlines from all the different sources we're getting, and we've got algorithms that are looking at the headlines to see what keeps repeating itself, okay? But every day during the school year, we actually create a lesson plan around one of them. So Swedish PM resigns. We'll click on that and you'll see this shows me that article. It's a full text article, same exact tools across the top. And if I want to get more information, we provide a search. Now, if I view that lesson plan, you'll see that's going to now hone in on Sweden's parliamentary election. Subject curricular area, general education standards, and the lesson plan, 4 sets of questions, okay, all starting around this parliamentary election procedure. Now, if I want to complete everything, I would need to do more research, and I would need to start with that first article, okay? Hence, we give you a search to get more information. We also provide you with additional resources, and these websites have been vetted, so they are safe. And then we finish up with presentation and assessment options. Many of our customers use this entire thing. Some may only take one set of questions and assign it for homework, because that enhances something they just did in the classroom, okay? But these are your to use any way you wish. Now, if I click back on this and I click view all lesson plans, you're going to see we have 5,215 of these. Tomorrow will be 216 of them. And you can search. Okay, so example, maybe my economics teacher came and said, hey, I have to do a class on financial literacy. Well, I just started typing finance and you can see I've got lesson plans, okay? We just got 21 years since 9/11, okay? So there is 9/11. And what the search does is it hones in on the title of the actual lesson plan. So as you can see, very, very useful, very helpful, and really something that gets used a lot. That really gives you a great idea of Access World News, its capabilities, the way it supports every single subject, and every topic you can even think of. Any questions I can answer?
We do, Matt. We've got several. Starting with, is there a way to search by editorial or opinion?
Yes, yes, you can narrow down to that information, okay? Now, I've got different ways I can do it, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on more search options. And you'll see what this allows me to do is this allows me to select a field that I want to search in, okay? So, example is, if I want to get only information from, we'll say editorial, all right, I can put in a search here first, okay? So I'll do all text, all right, and we'll do that same search, and I'm going to link it, and I'm going to say, and I'm going to go, and I'm just going to type editorial here, okay, and I can author byline, click on section. So now, when I search, it's going to search for immigration, and okay, it's going to link it, try and link it to that editorial section for me, okay? So by using that section, it should, and of course it doesn't look like it did it this time. Let me try it. I just, and I want to put it in caps there just to make sure. All right. And I'm failing. So sorry for that. I'm just going to get rid of the keyword altogether and do editorial. And it's not bringing me to just that editorial section, which it did do before. Let me just start a new search altogether and do this again. More options. All right, I'm going to do editorial. Oh. And I'm just going to select a field. This time I'm actually just going to do it all text. All right, and I believe it will find my editorial section that way as well. Okay, so multiple ways you can do it. Okay, and of course it is, there we go. Okay, so we're getting into editorial stuff now. Okay, and then I'll also switch this again to section, search. And we should be getting editorial, but it is not performing the way it should. Normally that will bring me to the editorial section, and I do apologize, that's not working right now. Other questions?
No problem. We do have a related question. Is there a way to show bias in the sources?
No, there is not. One of the things NewsBank does pride itself in is collecting data and working with publishers from all sides, okay? And we do not flag or have any kind of a tag that will tell you whether it's, you know, from the left, from the right, from the middle, and so on. So unfortunately, it's not. We do that because we want students to think and make up their own minds on what perspective they are seeing.
Right. So it's the multiple perspectives and allowing the discussions to happen from multiple perspectives on the same topic.
Correct.
Great. How do I access older articles?
Okay, so this database only goes back to, again, roughly 1980, and you can filter when you do a search okay, to the oldest content first, all right? But if you're looking for something, so example is I click oldest, and that'll get me, in this case, to the oldest content, 1980, 87 in this case, around this search on aerospace engineering. Now, we do have a set of historical newspapers, and we will be having a webinar on that. So if you either already subscribe or are interested in seeing that older content, which actually goes all the way back to 1690, I believe that webinar is going to be around October 13th.
You're right, yes, Thursday, October 13th. Okay, can we search for editorial cartoons? That's a new question.
In this database, no, you cannot narrow it down to cartoons because of the way image edition newspapers come into the database. So we can't identify just a cartoon, for example, in the image edition newspapers.
Thank you. And let's see, a question about articles written in French or any language. Again, can we learn a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so again, if you just type in a term, okay, so here, for example, Presidente for Spanish, and I search, that will then bring me to, okay, those results, all right, and you'll note that they are in Spanish, okay? The database itself, we get, I'm going to actually just do a new search altogether, and I'm just going to hit search to illustrate something here. But we get the content, the way we get the content is in that language. So Spanish, for example, we've got a lot of Spanish content, and I'm going to go down. And as I mentioned, we're just shy of 1 billion documents. We've got 970 billion documents in here. So we're just shy of that big mark. Now I'm going to click here. Okay. And this is going to show us, so we've got 18 different languages, okay? So you can see here, 26 million documents in Spanish, okay? Just shy of 10 million documents in French. And if you click this, that would give you just that content, okay? But again, simply type your term up here in whatever language you want to search, and that will give you those results in that language.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Matt. In the interest of time, we're going to move on. But to get to your question, we do commit to getting back to you in the very near future. If we have some time at the end, we can have another session for questions and answers. But
yes, and I will follow up on the editorial question again too.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. So now that you know more about this fantastic resource and how to pinpoint information, let's get it into the hands of your colleagues and teachers and students. So these are our top 5 strategies to help build awareness of your NewsBank resources. And all of these are ready to use. They are, again, they're in the handout section. You can download them right now. And then you can customize them for your school library or your district or a specific class, or just copy and paste and use them right away. Number 1 is to host a hands-on training. NewsBank, specifically Matt and his team, offer complimentary training sessions for customers, or if you're not a customer yet and you'd like a session to learn more, gather up a group, and Matt's team will be happy to show you around how to customize the resource that best fit your school or your district's needs. Or you can even use this presentation. We'll email a recording of it out to you after this, and you can share it with those who may find it beneficial. Number 2, building your online presence. If people don't know the resource is there, they're not going to use it. It's as simple as that. So if you do a featured resource of the month or a Did You Know section, add Access World News. We have graphics for you and brief product descriptions that you can use. And again, you can just download those, copy and paste them, and add them to your website. Here you can see several examples from customers and how they've incorporated it into various pages throughout their library website and even their school's website. So the more places, obviously, that you can place it, the more likely it is that people will discover it and use it. Number 3, scavenger hunts. Get students into the resource with these ready-to-use scavenger hunts. You can download and print it off. You can share the link, and students can get right in, and it's an easy way to just get searching and learn how to just navigate in the product. It's a great way to start. Number 4, as Matt said, NewsBank resources integrate with discovery services and learning management systems like Blackboard and Canvas. And we have a very robust web page with PDFs and video instructions on how you can add articles and NewsBank resources into your assignments. I really suggest looking into that. And even if you work with your IT department or have questions, our customer service team is happy to help. But today with kids, if you're like me, having kids in Canvas all day, it's so helpful to have those links and resources right there. And number 5, video views. Video is the #1 way to engage, and we have a large collection of how-to videos that are 40 seconds to 2 minutes long, and you can learn about the various features that Matt showed today, such as how to cite a source, how to use suggested topics, how to create a folder, how to share a link. So they're all there. These are great things to add to a school newsletter or put on your social media as a reminder to people, to give them an overview of the resource and let them know how to use it and how to access it at your school. So those are my top 5 ways, but I do have a bonus. Learn from librarians. These are 2 quick video stories from educators who use NewsBank to help their students find success. And the first, a debate team's secret weapon. Elizabeth Alexander with Bishop Gorman High School talks about how her first year debate team finished in the top 10 in a state competition using NewsBank. And then we have Kelly Vikstrom Hoyt, who was the 2021 Educator of the Year as named by the News Literacy Project. And she has some inspiring suggestions on how she uses Access World News for environmental science and environmental studies AP courses in high school. And so there's just some unique ways that people are using Access World News to help their students find success and build that information literacy. So those are my top 5 engagement strategies. And again, you can find all of these and more in the handout section, but also on our website. We have a marketing resource center. There's a link here, and you can find these resources and many more, like we have bookmarks you can print out, ready to use social media posts, and they're all in our online resource center. But again, you download this presentation, all the links are right there. You don't have to hunt and peck around. We made it easy for you, so I encourage you to download those documents in the handout section. And let me pause again to see if we have any more questions. We do have, Matt, this may be a good one for you. Does NewsBank interface with EBSCO Discovery Services? And if so, how do I send the EBSCO NewsBank content? Well, let's first address the first part. Do we interface with EBSCO Discovery Service?
Yes, it does. EDS would be the discovery service we interface with. And if you let your EBSCO representative know, they actually have everything they need on their side in order to pull our content in.
Excellent. Thank you. And then we have a question about the lesson plans. That's another great, ready to use, a great way to engage. And if you, especially now, kind of as the school year is getting started again, it's a great time to remind people of those lesson plans. There's a question, Matt, how do I request or suggest a lesson plan?
So for suggested topics, just drop us an email. If I can share my desktop again real quick.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Show my screen. All right, and let's click on that. You see that okay?
Yes.
All right, we've got this share feedback button up here. Okay, so when you click that, that will allow you to type in information so you can get it to us that way. Or again, email your sales rep or customer service, and we'll get it that way as well. Okay, and I got the editorial working again too. So if you want real quick, I'll do that search on immigration just so I can show people real fast. Okay, and I'm just going to click advanced here because I've got, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do editorial, again, section, okay, and it's going to rerun that search for me. And you'll note when I open this up, it's pulling from the opinion and editorial section. Okay, so that is back and working again.
Excellent. Thank you, Matt.
Okay.
Okay, well, we are coming up at the end of our 45 minutes here, but before we say goodbye, I want to invite you to our upcoming webinars to complete the core 4 areas of NewsBank. And as we mentioned, we have 3 coming up. The next one is supporting diversity, equity, and inclusion in the classroom with our Black Life in America and Hispanic Life in America resources. That will be on Wednesday, September 28th at 1 o'clock. Great timing. We'll have some tips and tools for how to engage with Hispanic Heritage Month, which starts today, and some ideas for if you're planning Black History Month for next February. How the Past Informs the Present, that's America's Historical Newspapers on Thursday, October 13th at 1 o'clock. And Getting to Know Research Rocket, that's our resource for our youngest and beginning researchers. That will be on Thursday, October 27th, and they're all at 1 o'clock Eastern. So please join us, or if you have colleagues that you feel like would benefit, please share the links with them. Today's presentation is just one step in our commitment to working with you. Again, I want to make one last plug for the handouts and the resources there. I really encourage you to download those and save them so you can refer back to those web pages and easily access them anytime. And if you have trouble with that, we'll be happy to send us an email and we'll shoot it over to you. We have the links that we can customize a training session for you, how to reach customer service, those LMS integrations, and more. So please do not hesitate to reach out to us with those questions and how we can best help you. We hope you found today's training session valuable and that you have some actionable ways to reach out to your teachers and students and colleagues. We're grateful for your questions. And again, if we didn't get to them, I think we got to most of them here. If we didn't, we will follow up with you in the very near future. As you log out today, you will see a brief survey. Please take a moment to let us know what you thought about today's session and how we can improve in the future. We are so grateful for your time. And on behalf of the NewsBank team, we hope you have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.